From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
At least for now, we know that the individual involved is in jail, and she's been charged with deliberate homicide.
Police investigate a murder that rocks a neighborhood near Belgrade. Just ahead, we hear from neighbors about the incident that happened just down the street or even right next door.
It scared me. It's not something that you want to wake up to, that's for sure.
And a man in Billings is dead after another shooting in that city. Coming up, learn how that's not the only victim. An infant was also hit by those bullets.
An animal trap found off this walking path in Butte makes some wonder if it's safe to walk your dogs here.
I'm Jonathan Amberian in Helena. Congressman Matt Rosendale still hasn't announced whether he's running for U.S. Senate next year, but that hasn't stopped a statewide elected official from announcing a campaign for the House seat that Rosendale could be leaving open.
Alrighty, it is 6:30, almost 2 on this Thursday edition of Montana This Morning. Jane McDonald and Matt Elwell. Hope everyone had a good Wednesday and you're having a good start to your Thursday.
It's
We're almost there to Friday.
We're working our way that direction. There are some showers starting to move in, some light rain out toward Butte this morning as we're watching things kind of change around a little bit. Next system moving in. Off and on rain showers generally for valleys. Mountains may see some snow from time to time. Just expect the temperatures to be above the freezing mark. I think this is positive for us, especially when we're talking off and on rain showers throughout the day, both for Bozeman and Butte. Butte, wet roadways to start the morning. We'll talk about the impacts this may have as we lead our way into the weekend in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you very much, Matt. Now, our top story this half hour, a Belgrade woman is facing charges in connection with the death of a Belgrade man found with gunshot wounds. It happened at the Lexley Acres Mobile Home Park. Now, the park is just south of Belgrade, which you can see here on the map. Here's Jackrabbit, and as you head south across the interstate, Lexley Acres is right there near that red sign, behind the Goodwill store, just west of Jackrabbit. MTN's Kristen Merkel reports on what happened in that shooting and what neighbors have to say about the recent death in their neighborhood.
A woman appeared in Gallatin County Justice Court Wednesday facing deliberate homicide charges after she allegedly shot and killed a man inside this trailer home in Belgrade.
At least for now, we know that the individual involved is in jail, and she's been charged with deliberate homicide.
42-year-old Heather Harrington was taken into custody Tuesday afternoon at the Lexley Acres Mobile Home Park after allegedly killing 76-year-old George Soperpina. Harrington reportedly asked construction workers across the street for help. They followed her to Soperpina's home. Once the workers stepped inside, reports say they found Soperpina's body on the floor, bleeding, and called 911. According to court documents, when officers arrived, they determined Soperpina died from apparent gunshot wounds and found a handgun, 4 fired casings, and 2 fired bullets.
This was a very self-contained event. It appears as this was just inside that residence between 2 people that had a relationship.
I spoke with a neighbor in the mobile home park. They told me Harrington had been living with Soperpina for a little while, but didn't know what kind of relationship they had. Gallatin County Sheriff Dan Springer says this isn't the first time Harrington has had a run-in with the law.
She does have a history of being violent. She was out on bond. She was released on her own recognizance for an assault with a weapon charge.
The death of George Soperpina and Heather Harrington's involvement are still under investigation. Harrington is being held at the Gallatin County Detention Center with a $500,000 bond. Her next court date is set for November 24th. In Belgrade, Kristen Merkel, MTN News.
And a 31-year-old Billings man was shot and killed Wednesday morning. An infant was also injured and rushed to the hospital. It's the latest in a string of violent incidents in Billings. Early Saturday, police say teens with ties to gangs shot and killed an 18-year-old Rocky Mountain College student on the 900 block of Poly Drive. Then there was more gunfire Tuesday night. 2 homes and 2 vehicles were shot up not far away on the 1500 block of Colton and 2000 block of Lamar Drive. Then at around 10 yesterday morning, the latest shooting. MTN's Jackie Coffin was on the scene.
And finding suspects in this homicide case led to this, a standoff outside of a home on 28th Street as police and SWAT teams worked together to arrest suspects from inside of the house. Hours into a standoff, police pull at least 10 people from a house on the 300 block of South 28th Street. It's a house they're called to a lot.
It's a residence where we frequent. It's kind of a flop house. People come and go all the time.
Among those arrested are two main suspects in a homicide case 1 mile away.
At about 10 a.m., I was awoken what sounded to be gunshots, about 4 gunshots. It was a very loud bang, so it startled me awake.
Jessica Dorsett lives next door to the home where a 31-year-old man was found dead from a gunshot wound and a baby injured and taken to the hospital. She says there have been problems and a police presence here before.
There has been some issues with those neighbors, a lot of disturbances, and last week I actually was able to record audio of someone screaming and threatening to kill somebody.
Wow, I wonder if I should call the cops.
Dorsett says police were quick to arrive Wednesday morning. Officers remained on scene throughout the day, and several bullet casings could be seen on the street as the suspect shot into the house, hit the man, and drove away. Police found the suspect vehicle here. An hours-long standoff with hostage negotiators, the SWAT team, and ultimately arrests. On the heels of another fatal shooting early Saturday morning, Lieutenant Matt Lennox says the department's resources.
We're good. We have the manpower that we need to handle both scenes. I know we've called our afternoon shift in to take calls for service, so this won't affect regular calls for service that are coming through our dispatch center. Obviously, we're going to be doing everything we can to resolve it as quickly as possible.
As another shooting leaves residents shaken.
It's scary, honestly, especially when it happens this close to you.
In Billings, Jackie Coffin, MTN News.
And a hidden danger near a public path. MTN's John Amy tells us about an animal trap discovered in Butte.
A foothold trap used to snare wild animals was found just a few feet off this popular walking trail here in the heart of Butte. And animal control officials are warning people who regularly use this path to walk with their dogs or children to be cautious.
It's very scary to me because with the leashes that we use, our dogs can walk a little ways off the trail. And if they stepped in it, it could be so damaging, they could even lose like an extremity.
On October 28th, a person walking the path found the trap within 15 feet of the path near Blacktail Creek, just off Pinion Avenue. The trap had a dead fox caught in it, and Fish, Wildlife, and Parks is investigating the matter.
We just want people to be aware of that. Someone has set a trap that is in an area that's not appropriate for that type of stuff.
The illegally set trap is designed to snap shut on the leg of an animal.
It does break bones, or could potentially break bones, or cause damage.
The motive for setting the trap is unknown, but investigators suspect someone could have been trying to catch an urban fox or coyote.
People get upset about, those kinds of animals. They feel like they're a nuisance, but they were here first.
Kathy White, who regularly walks her dogs along this path, said it's disturbing to know there was a trap so close to the path.
What worries me even more is what if a child walked into that trap? That could just be absolutely horrible.
Investigators said they found no other traps in the area. In Butte, John Amy, MTN News.
And Montana Congressman Matt Rosendale still hasn't announced whether he'll run for U.S. Senate next year. But the race to fill his Eastern District seat, if he does, is continuing to heat up. MTN senior political reporter Jonathan Amberian reports State Auditor Troy Downing is the latest prominent official to announce a campaign.
Troy Downing said earlier this year that he'd consider running for Montana's Eastern Congressional seat if Matt Rosendale decided not to seek another term in the House. But on Wednesday, he told MTN though Rosendale hasn't made a formal announcement, he fully believes the seat will be open and that the window for candidates to put themselves forward is closing. Downing announced a House campaign Wednesday morning, saying he wants to push back against the Biden administration and stand up for conservative Montana values in Congress. Downing is a businessman and Air Force veteran. He has served one term as state auditor, regulating the insurance and securities industries in Montana. He could seek re-election in 2024, but said he feels there are challenges that need to be tackled at the federal level.
I have gone to war for this country. I have served this country both on the national level and on the state level, and we've got bigger problems, bigger fish to fry. And I think that those problems are right now with out of control spending, porous borders, and we need to rebuild our military. We need to make sure that we're doing everything we can to maintain that American dream.
Another statewide elected official, State Superintendent of Public Instruction Elsie Arnson, has created an exploratory committee, saying that she's looking at running for the seat if Rosendale doesn't seek another term. And other Republicans have announced interest. Former state lawmakers Rick Holden, Joel Crowder, and Ed Walker, and Public Service Commissioner Randy Pinocci. A spokesperson for Rosendale told MTN Wednesday that he is still making a decision on the Senate race, but that he has the overwhelming support of Montanans. So far, 2 Democratic candidates have filed to run in the Eastern District: Kevin Ham, Helena business owner, and Ming Cabrera, a former pharmaceutical sales representative from Billings. In Helena, Jonathan Amberian, MTN News.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. Now, we're going to take a short break here on Montana This Morning, but when we come back, well, it broke records yesterday. And of course, I'm talking about the Montana Millionaire Lottery.
I'm Ryan Berg with MTN News here at Bob's Valley Market, where people here and all over Montana are seeking to become millionaires.